What if your greatest pain is not a punishment? What if it is, in fact, a preparation? We are conditioned by our very biology to fear our lowest point. We see it as a finality, a swamp, a dark and suffocating place from which there is no return. We get hit by the first wave of tragedy, and then we get hit by a second, and we feel the avalanche begin. The air gets thin. We think, this is it. It is all falling apart. We brace for the next impact, and the next, and the next. We feel paralyzed, broken, and profoundly alone. In this moment, the world divides into two categories: those who are safe and us, the ones who are drowning. This feeling is one of the most terrifying human experiences, but what if I told you with absolute certainty that you are looking at it all wrong? What if that place of absolute brokenness, that moment where you feel most vulnerable, most humbled, most shattered, what if that is not your burial ground? What if it is instead your foundation? What if that darkness is not a swamp to drown in, but is in fact a precisely engineered springboard, perfectly designed and placed in your path to launch you to a height you could never have reached on your own? You are not being buried. You are being planted. And today, I will show you exactly how to use this principle. I will show you why your lowest point is and must be your greatest weapon. This crisis you are facing, what is it really? On the surface, it is a loss, a job, a relationship, a loved one, your health. But beneath that, the real crisis, the one that causes the true suffering, is the death of your narrative. From the day we are born, we build a fortress of identity. We tell ourselves a story about who we are. I am strong. I am in control. I am successful. I am the one who always figures it out. This story is our ego. It is our shield. It is the lens through which we interpret the world. And for most of our lives, it serves us. And then a trial hits. But this trial is not a normal one. It is not a small crack in the wall. It is an earthquake. It doesn't just damage the fortress, it shatters the very foundation. The story you told yourself, it no longer works. The person you thought you were is gone. This is the true meaning of rock bottom. It is the moment you look in the mirror and you do not recognize the person staring back. You were left with nothing. Not anger, not sadness, just a profound, terrifying void. Your ego, that loud, boisterous friend who always claimed to have the answers, is suddenly, deafeningly silent. You are left with nothing but the raw, painful, undeniable truth of your own vulnerability. And what is our first instinct in this moment? We panic, we run, we desperately try to numb the void. We call this coping, but often it is just spiritual anesthesia. We dive into distraction, into work, into noise, into anything that will keep us from having to sit in that terrifying, silent room. We try to rebuild the same shattered fortress on the same unstable ground, using the same broken materials. And this is our first and greatest mistake. We run from the very place our true healing is buried. We abandon the one location that holds the key to our transformation. But what if you didn't run? What if, just for a moment, you chose to be brave enough to sit in that void? What if you chose to turn around and face the emptiness? Because here is the secret. That void is not empty. It is just quiet. And in that quiet, for the first time in your life, you can finally hear. This is the Springboard principle. It is the profound spiritual law that your point of greatest vulnerability is also your point of greatest potential. The mechanism is simple. When your ego is shattered, it is finally silent. That tyrant of the mind is for a moment dethroned. And in that silence, true humility is born. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less. It is the simple, honest recognition that you are not in control. It is an empty cup. It is an open hand, and only an open hand can receive. Only an empty cup can be filled. This is when your relationship with life, with God, with the universe fundamentally changes. Your prayers are no longer a wish list. They are no longer a transaction. The prayers of the ego are, please give me this and I will do that. The prayer from the void is different. It is a desperate, honest, one-word cry, help. And that prayer is the most powerful force in the universe. This is the moment of your true creation. This is the springboard. Look at the stories that shape us. Adam's fall from paradise was not just a fall. It was a deployment. He was not just banished, he was sent. He lost a life of ease, but he gained wisdom, he gained repentance, and he gained a station his perfect self could never have achieved. His lowest point was the beginning of the human story. Look at the prophet Yunus, plunged into the triple darkness, the darkness of the night, the darkness of the sea, the darkness of the whale's belly. It is arguably the lowest physical and emotional point imaginable. But it was not a prison, it was a sanctuary. In that place, with no distraction, no ego, and no escape, he uttered one of the most powerful prayers known to man. He was insulated from the world so he could finally, purely, connect with the divine. His ascent from that darkness was not just a rescue, it was a rebirth. Your pain has hollowed you out for a reason. A musician cannot play an instrument that is solid. It must be hollow to create resonance. Life is hollowing you out, carving away the parts of your ego that were blocking your own music. It hurts. Of course it hurts. It is the chisel on the marble. But it is not destroying you, it is revealing you. So, here is the invitation. Here is the work. Do not waste this moment. Do not be so quick to numb the pain or run from the emptiness. That darkness you are in, it is not a pit, it is a classroom. Be brave enough to sit in it. Be brave enough to be broken. And then ask the questions. Ask the void, what are you here to teach me? What part of my ego needed to die? What story was I telling myself that was false? What is waiting on the other side of this pain to be born? Use this vulnerability. Use it not as a source of shame, but as your most potent weapon. This is your chance to reevaluate, to reassess, and to reconnect with the truth deeper than your circumstances. This is your chance to rebuild your life, but not as it was, never as it was. That life is over. This is your chance to build the life that was meant for you, a life built not on the shifting sands of ego, but on the bedrock of humble, tested, indestructible truth. The next time you feel yourself falling, the next time you feel the ground give way beneath your feet, I want you to remember this. Do not fear the impact. Do not brace for the end. Instead, I want you to look down and see not a swamp, but the coiled spring waiting to catch you. Because your lowest point is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your greatest ascent. If this message resonated with you, if you have felt this void, share this video with one person who needs to hear it. And in the comments, I want you to write one word, Springboard, as a declaration, a promise to yourself that you will not waste your pain, and as a reminder to everyone else in this community of our profound shared potential to rise.